What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Josh. This is Native Nomads, and today we're going to be doing a full in-depth review, give you my impressions, thoughts, ideas on the Anker SOLIX F2000. So if this is your first time stopping by, I want to say thank you for choosing to stop by the channel and watch this video. I hope that the video is helpful. And today we're going to just talk through the Anker SOLIX F2000. And we're going to go through pretty much every single feature, what it does, why it would be good for you, and especially given that it's the Christmas season, I think that there's no better time than to save by purchasing an Anker SOLIX F2000 with the link in the description and save yourself some money while their sale is still persisting. So what I'm going to do is kind of switch these cameras around. I'm going to show you basically every single thing that I think is important about the Anker SOLIX F2000. I'm going to be tired of saying that by the end of this video, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to kind of go through each piece component, what you can expect usage-wise, what you can expect from if you're a car camper, if you're an overlander, if you're a van lifer. There are tons of uses for this product, especially in the winter season, power outages. I always have an extra power station laying around, and this one is going to be my new primary power station that I have laying around in the event of a power outage. I don't want to end up like Texas did a couple of years ago. So let's hop into the description. Let's go through all the features and let me show you what you can expect out of your new or soon to be new product. All right, so before we get started diving into the Anker SOLIX F2000, what I'd like to talk about is what comes in the box. So what comes in the box, as you would expect, you will find your instructions, the whole user manual that lets you know everything that this bad boy can and can't do. For those of you who like reading user manuals, I'm more of a YouTube guy, but that's just me. Your charging cord. This is what you use to charge your device with. Plugs into a typical 110 wall outlet, and that's how you charge it. We're going to see how many watts it charges at off the wall as well during this video. Another item, which is hugely important, especially to us car campers, overlanders, van life type people, is your cigarette adapter charger. This is how you charge off of your 12-volt cigarette lighter inside your vehicle. I am also going to see how many watts this pulls during this video, because that'll give you a good idea of how long it's going to take to charge this bad boy off of this. My guess, before we get started, I'm going to keep to myself, because I don't want to confuse the audience as to what possibly you will receive. So this, I think, is probably the coolest little adapter I've seen. So what this allows you to do is charge up to 1,000 watts of solar coming in to your Anker SOLIX 2000. And this dongle comes with your attachment. So you can plug each individual solar panel into this dongle. This plugs directly into the battery bank itself, and it allows you to charge at 1,000 watts of solar. This is different than anything I've seen in the past, and this is probably one of my favorite features so far, but I've just opened the box. But for those of us who do charge off solar and need the ability to charge off a pretty large amount of solar, 2,000 watts is not a small amount. I don't know how long it'll take to charge off of 1,000 watts of solar coming in. Obviously, that depends on the sunlight. That depends on the solar panel itself, the efficiency of that panel. So that's a really hard test to run because not everybody runs the same panels. But this dongle in itself is going to be a game changer for allowing you to plug in your solar panels and not have to connect all of your solar panels together. Maybe they're in different locations or whatever the case may be, but this is probably my favorite thing I've seen in the box so far. The other thing you get is this little carrying pouch, and it has all of the space for the things that we just spoke about. Not that important, but I figure why not mention it. This is where you can keep all of your chargers and attachments. All right, so while we're letting her warm up and do her thing, I did just plug her in. It came at 88% capacity, and it is charging right now off of my wall outlet at 407 watts. So my assumption is I don't have evidence to back this up, and I'm not going to be able to deplete it all the way down in time for this video, but my assumption is you're going to be somewhere in the 2 to 4 hour range to recharge this bad boy. Now, the capacity for the Anker SOLIX 2000 is 2,048 watt hours, and it is ran off of LiFePO4 lithium iron phosphate batteries. It has up to 3,000 cycles, and the continuous AC output is 2,400 watts through a pure sine wave inverter. It has an AC surge of 2,800 watts, so if you do plan on running an air conditioner or anything off of this, maybe for your van, for your camper, whatever it may be, or you are running directly from your camper, because this does have a plug, a 30 amp plug, that you could plug your camper directly into this unit, and you could run your camper off of this entire unit. And if you have a microwave or a air conditioner and it kicks on, the pure sine wave inverter will surge up to 2,800 watts to get that thing moving right along. Now, your AC outlets, you have, as you can see, 4 AC outlets and your one 30 amp output for your camper or RV plug. If you've ever owned a camper or an RV, you know what I'm talking about. Looks kind of funky. Kind of like a dryer almost, but a little bit different, and that is what you can use that for to run your camper. So your solar input, I am going to turn this around because it is in the back. So I'm going to unplug this here real quick, flip her around to show you where your solar charge is. And it's the same place that you charge off of your wall outlet. Here's for your wall, here is for your solar input. So this side would go into here. Your panels would then go into this dongle, and it would charge from your solar panels. This is your breaker button. So if it ever trips out or your inverter flips off, you just click that button will pop out, press that button in, and you're good to go. Now the back side of this, you will also find this additional port, this plug. This is where you can plug additional Anker products into this to expand your battery. So if 2,048 watt hours is not enough for you, you can expand this battery bank by simply plugging another unit sold by Anker. Now your 4 AC outlets are 5 to 20 amps, and this one is the 30 amp. Like I said, probably 3 times before, but I wanted to make sure I made that point. And in order to turn all of your AC outlets on, all you have to do is press your AC outlet button. You can hear the inverter flip, and these are now capable of using. I would turn this off if you are not using your AC outlets, simply because this will draw down battery, because your inverter does use battery. Even if it's just a very small amount, there will be a small power draw. You don't want to lose battery if you don't need to. So if you're not using these, keep these off. Now you have your 2 car sockets. These are 12 to 24 volt, 10 amp sockets. Same concept as the AC outlets. You flip it on, both of those are now on. Flip it off, both of those are off. You could get creative with these outlets if you wanted. I'm not going to get too deep into that in this video, but this is something you could use to power your van or power specific components through a different controller. That's off topic. And your DC output, you have a total of 5 outputs here, and these are USB-Cs, and these are your traditional USB-C A's. These are 12 watts, these 3 are 100 watts. So the total scalability of the Anker SOLIX 2000 is 4,096 watt hours. So you can double this with you can double this with expansion batteries. They are sold separately, but if you need to double this amount of juice and battery power, you can definitely do that. And up here you have your Bluetooth controller. Again, this is one of those things that I would keep off if you're not going to be using the Bluetooth feature. You can connect it to your phone, check your status of your battery through your phone. I use this all the time. It's probably one of my favorite features of all the battery banks, this one in particular. And this is your power saving mode. So this will make sure you get into eco mode and save yourself some power when you're not utilizing all the functions on the Anker SOLIX 2000. So a hugely important part of these battery banks, especially for me in my use case, using them in the Subaru or using them in the van, using them in the GX, this will be my primary battery bank for my Subaru Outback Wilderness. This is what I will keep in the car most of the time, obviously when I need it. It is a little bigger than what I would generally keep in the car, but that's what we're going to talk about now, are the dimensions. Because surprisingly, it has a pretty good form factor, and I'm going to say right now that, don't know how well you can see this, let me back this up. This handle right here, being able to extend this handle like a suitcase, lift this thing up and roll it around. I'm doing this with one arm right now. It is so nice. It is so easy. It is such an intuitive idea and a great design to be able to have that handle, because if you've ever picked one of these up, you know that it is not light. This particular unit is 67.2 pounds. So lugging this in and out of the back of your car, carrying it across your yard to plug it in or to use it in another application without that handle could be a huge pain in the butt. But with that handle, it makes everything so easy, and I freaking love that handle. Now, we want to talk about the size, the dimensions. So that is probably the most important part to me. So I'm going to grab my tape measure, and I'm going to tell you what it says. 20.7 would be the length. So 20.7 with the wheel included. Then you have, oh, actually, I think it's actually measured from, yeah, your 20.7 is handle end to handle end, okay? So these handles protrude out slightly so you can pick it up on either side if you need to. That is 20.7 inches. And then your height is 15.9 inches. Oh, nope. 15.5, exactly 15.5 inches tall. And then the depth is 9.8 inches front to back. So for this much battery power, it is in a relatively small form factor. Yes, it's dense and it's heavy, but everything that you're getting with this product allows you to have more than enough power for a small weekend camp trip, depending upon the items that you plan to run off of it. I am going to do a couple of demonstrations and show you a little bit about how I'm going to use this and what I'm going to use this for. But another great thing for this is if you wanted to run some Christmas lights outside of your house, or maybe on your camper or on your van, you could simply plug those in and you could run it directly off this for Christmas time. I think it's just one of those cool things to mention, that these things have a lot of different uses and you could get creative. You could do all kinds of cool stuff with them. But more importantly, if an emergency happens, especially in the winter, especially around Christmas time, you want to have some way to run the things that are necessary to keep your family warm. And this will definitely help out depending upon your climate, depending upon the sun. What you have access to will dictate how long this will keep you guys in a good situation. But for the most part, this is going to be a simple solution for a problem that is not catastrophic. So a perfect real-world example of how I will be using my Anker SOLIX 2000 would be definitely to run my Dometic CFX 55 dual zone refrigerator. It is part of all the travels, and pretty much if you car camp like we do, or you overland, or you live out of your vehicle for any amount of time, having some type of refrigerator is always one of those things that's kind of just part of the process. And that's what I'll be using this for primarily. Another thing, most of you guys know, I'm an avid photographer, landscape, wildlife, adventure of all sorts, and my camera batteries will always need to be charged. So I will always have my camera batteries plugged into the AC outlets. That could be drone batteries. It could be my normal camera batteries for my Sony cameras, whatever it is. And right now I'm charging a battery and I am pulling off, or I'm running my refrigerator and I'm pulling between 43 and 46 watts. The last thing I want to mention, and this is not only for camping, mostly I use this for camping, but I generally have some kind of heated blanket inside my vehicle, especially in the wintertime. And then when my tent is up on top, we camp in the tent, and to have a heated blanket when it is cold outside, it's absolutely imperative for us to have that. So with this, I can obviously run my heated blanket right off of it. The reason I say we carry this a lot of times anyways is simply because if your car were to break down and you're kind of stranded and you're waiting, or you're way in the backcountry and something happens, staying warm is obviously hugely important. So we generally have, not only do I keep my Rumple down blanket in the GX460 at all times, but I also keep a heated blanket that I can run off of the Anker 2000 in the event that we have any issues. And right now, one thing I need to mention that is extremely important, this is on low. If I were to crank this up to 2 or 3, not sure how well you can see that, but these pull a lot of power. Anything that conducts heat is going to pull a lot of power. And right now, with this heated blanket on, we are pulling, give it a second to warm up here, 236 watts. So right now we're pulling 236 watts out of the power station, and that's going to deplete the power station pretty quick. Right now it's letting me know on the screen in 4.9 hours this power station will be depleted. This jumps around a bit depending upon what's being pulled, because right now the wattage is increasing from my electric blankets, so it's decreasing the amount of time that I have. So it's all, I don't want to say a guessing game because that's unfair. It's not a guessing game. You just have to learn how to properly manage this and you will be in good shape. But that is a real life walkthrough of what I would be using the Anker SOLIX 2000 for on a day-to-day basis. All right, so if you found the video helpful today, I would encourage you to share it. Like this video, check the description for the link to the Anker SOLIX 2000. Pick yourself one up before Christmas. I'm not exactly sure when you're seeing this video, but you can save a decent amount of money through the end of the year and possibly into the new year if you use the link in the description to make that purchase. If you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, please leave those below. I get to those every single morning, and I will see you on the next one.